Okay, so remember we said that counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or the 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, remember we said that that was the very cornerstone of being able to stay in time, which is crucial to being able to do any sort of finger picking and sound good, okay? Once we have that concept established, once we have that skill established and mastered, then we want to be able to do a basic finger picking here. And there are two basic finger picking patterns that we want to do that are going to introduce us to this new style of playing, okay? So stick with me. This is really important to know this, okay? When we're counting the 1, 2, 3, 4, what I want you to do is take your thumb and play that low E string, okay? For all these exercises, the only thing you're going to have to do with the left hand is take your second finger and put it at the second fret of the D string, okay? Essentially what we're going to be doing is playing an E minor chord, but we're only going to be playing a few notes out of it, so you only need to put your second finger at the second fret of the D string, okay? And as a rule, remember when we talked about finger picking, we had the PIMA rule, right? The P-I-M-A. P for the thumb, I for the index finger, M for the middle finger, and A for the ring finger. You can remember that by thinking like anniversary ring, okay? So P-I-M-A, and P you could remember as plectrum or pick. Plectrum is what the British call a guitar pick, okay? So if you're in the UK, call it a plectrum, not a pick, all right? So for this exercise, what I want you to do is hit the thumb on the 1, or on every downbeat, if you will. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the beginning, it's really important that you count out loud, okay? As you progress in your playing, it will become less important because you will have an established beat, okay? But really important that you count out loud. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is your first homework or your first assignment here, is to be able to do this and be able to do it counting out loud, okay? The next thing that we want to do is we want to add the and of the beat. Remember, the and is when our foot comes up. It's directly in the middle of 2 downbeats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, denoted by the plus in our PDFs that we've got for the videos here. Make sure you look at those too. Super important, okay? So what I want you to do is take your first finger, your index, the I, and I want you to pluck the 4th string on the upbeat, and I want you to pluck it up. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And remember, it's really important to be able to count it out loud while you're playing. You're going to be establishing a good rhythm this way, okay? Your internal metronome will be building, okay? So you can see that I'm resting my fingers here on my other strings. You can either do that or not. That's really a matter of preference. In classical school, they'll teach you not to do that whatsoever, but there's a lot of things in classical school that they'll teach you that aren't necessarily beneficial, but more ego. So you'll want to make sure to, in anything that someone teaches you, make sure that it's something that's helping you. If it's not helping you, well, you also need to know their credibility too, but important to test everything that you learn. Okay, so you want to rest your fingers here, you can. If you want to rest them on the guitar, you can. Although we want to free up this 3rd finger, the A. We want to free that up. So you probably don't want to rest too much there unless you're not using those fingers at all. So in this case here, I'm just using thumb, P and I. So in that case, I'm resting. If I was using other fingers, of course I wouldn't rest, okay? So the next thing that you have to know is you have to be able to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And if you feel really good about this, okay, So again, don't let ego creep in here. This is an important cornerstone skill that you have to learn to do this. If you feel good about it, be able to count it and play it faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so no matter where you're at on this, you can always get better. Okay, now this is as far as practicing the E minor. That's what you'll do. Okay, let's say we were doing a G. Okay, then you could grab a G chord here, but remember we're just playing strings 6 and 4, so in this case here for the G chord you only need to put your third finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string and you would play the same strings. And then let's say we were playing an A minor. In this case what I want you to do is move both your thumb and first finger, or the P and I, move them down a string, both of them. So now you're playing strings 5 and 3. And so you'll put your second finger on the 2nd fret now of the G. Counting out loud, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. When you go to play your C, play the same strings with the picking hand. And with the fretting hand, put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, just like you would on a regular C chord, and that's all you need to do, because we're not playing this 4th string here, we're just playing 3 and 5. So, okay, so counting out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then I just tuned this guitar. And then when you go to play your D, make sure that you are on strings 4 and 2, okay? And then in this case here, the same method. You're going to have your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and you're just going to pluck strings 4 and 2. Counting out loud, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So, your objective for this lesson is to be able to play those few chords, like I just did, but be able to play them while you're counting out loud 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in. Okay, we're establishing a rock solid cornerstone here that your melodies will ride on top of. So if this is not established when you start introducing your melodies, you're going to have an issue with it. So make sure you take time with this video, make sure you take time afterwards, and sit there and noodle until you get it. Okay? Let's keep going.